Pull up that easy chair and sit right down for the best music in your town.
Here on Wayback with Johnny. Now don't turn that dial. The program's about to begin.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
Oh, Kris Kringle comes jing, jing, jingling.
Frosty the snowman was alive as he could be. Christmas time to coming, and I know I'm going home.
This is Lorne Green. The spirit of Christmas does wondrous things to the peoples of the earth. Fighting stops, wars stop, arguments stop, families unite, friends unite, gifts are given, friendships are given, and everyone joins in the spirit of Christmas. Join us as we explore the spirit of Christmas.
We'll have a good old country Christmas, all right.
Good morning, friends and listeners. Wayback with Johnny and the Wayback Country Christmas. This here is your old host with the most country western music and this time of year, Christmas music. As we celebrate the holidays and, of course, that sacred holiday itself, Christmas, here on CFRC 119 FM and also this year, www.oshawarocks.com. So sit back, relax, and enjoy that cup of eggnog or coffee as we pay tribute to Christmas music here at the Woodloch Ranch. Welcome and friends, and Merry Christmas.
We'll open up our presents Christmas Eve about midnight. We'll have a good old country Christmas, all right.
Morning, friends and listeners. Way back with Johnny. This series, your old host with the most country western music and this time of year, Christmas music, as we celebrate Christmas 2025. With that mentioned, we are still coming to you via the Woodloch Ranch and Studios, where this is recorded weekly. This is the first weekend in December 2025, and with that, we are celebrating our second annual tribute to Christmas. During our Christmas broadcast, we are proudly carried over CFRC 119 FM in downtown Kingston, Limestone City of Kingston, Ontario, Canada, as well as www.oshawarocks.com in the Old Durham County and the Greater Toronto areas. I'd also like to share that we are celebrating the music of Christmas today, but also heavily focused on the careers and the music of the Irish Rovers. As we focus on the Irish Rovers, I would like to welcome y'all into today's program and share that they were first formed in the 1960s in downtown Toronto. My friend George Millar and his friend Jimmy Ferguson would come together back then and form one of the most beloved Irish bands in Canadian history and Irish history. I'd also like to focus on their music, but also 100% Christmas music. So let's open up today's program with none other than the legendary Foster and Allen and Christmas Time in Ireland. Then we'll follow with a song by the Irish Rovers themselves and a song called It's Christmas Time Again. With that, I'd like to welcome y'all into the Way Back with Johnny show and also Way Back Country Christmas, our second edition. Welcome in, friends.
Christmas time in Ireland, in the days when I was young, when we gathered round the fire and the old songs they were sung, to hear my dear old mother tell of bygone days of yore, and the way that she spent Christmas in dear old Lenamore. Christmas time was different in the days of yesteryear, with candles in the window and the bells rang loud and clear. All the family gathered, they came from far and wide, so we'd be all together for a joyous Christmas tide. Holly round the pictures, red with berries bright, decorations flutter, they make a pretty sight. world is white with snow. The friendly birds are calling, and the widgeons they fly low. Christmas time in Ireland, in the days when I was young, when we gathered round the fire, and the old songs they were sung. To hear my dear old mother tell of bygone days of yore, and the way that she spent Christmas in dear old Benamore. It's well I do remember the nights of Christmas Eve, as we watched the bright stars in the sky. My stocking I would leave hanging from the bedstead. My heart is full of glee, hoping that dear Santa Claus will please remember me. And then on Christmas morning, as dinner time drew near, the smell of turkey cooking, oh, the currant cakes and beer. Happy, happy Christmas, let us all be glad that we have cherished memories of the Christmases we've had. Christmas time in Ireland, in the days when I was young, when we gathered round the fire, and the old songs they were sung. To hear my dear old mother tell of bygone days of yore, and the way that she spent Christmas in dear old Benamore.
Please welcome the Irish Rovers!
The fields of green are white with snow, the mountains and the glens below. Winter winds of cheeks aglow, and Ireland's wild domain. A wreath made from the holly tree hangs on the door for all to see. It greets our friends and family, it's Christmas time again.
Christmas comes but once a year, so everyone be of good cheer. The bells of peace ring loud and clear, it's Christmas time again.
The tree is dressed with fancy lights, they shine like diamonds in the night. Candle flames are flickering bright across the window pane. Fruits and spices fill the air with fragrance like a perfume rare. Pies and puddings and cakes to share, it's Christmas time again.
Christmas comes but once a year, so everyone be of good cheer. The bells of peace ring loud and clear, it's Christmas time again.
The sounds of children at their play and songs of Christmas sung today. Jingle bells and the horses sleigh going down a country lane. We'll join along in song and mirth and celebrate the Saviour's birth. We'll raise a glass to peace on earth this Christmas time again.
Christmas comes but once a year, so everyone be of good cheer. The bells of peace ring loud and clear, it's Christmas time again. Everyone be of good cheer. The bells of peace ring loud and clear, it's Christmas time again. Christmas comes but once a year, so everyone be of good cheer. The bells of peace ring loud and clear, it's Christmas time again.
Now friends, following those opening songs to today's program and the second official Wayback Country Christmas for 2025, I would like to once again send out some special dedications, as we usually do, to some dear friends and family, including first a song going out to my beloved Mama Dawn, who I am so honored to call my mama, but it's going to be a song that is very close to me called Christmas Like Mama Used to Make It, and that of course is by Tracy Bird. Then we're going to follow with another all-time classic, this time going out to my late partner and soulmate, Miss Velma LaPointe, who passed away 3 years ago, December 4th, 2022. And for Miss Jenny, as she was often referred to, it's going to be a classic by none other than Big Tom McBride. And when anyone asks about Irish music, there was always one that was always called the King of Irish Music. That, of course, was Big Tom. So it's going to be his all-time classic called One More Christmas With You. And then we'll wrap up with another Irish song, this time going out to my good friend Willie LaPointe in Verona. We often refer to him as the Mayor of Verona, and it's going to be an all-time classic by the Irish Rovers and their version of Away in a Manger. With that, I would like to say good morning to each and every one of you listening in. Welcome in, friends, and happy listening here on the Wayback Country Christmas.
It might seem a little bit old-fashioned, and it may not be the trend of the year, but let's take the store-bought feeling out of Christmas and have the kind that Mama held so dear. Let's not have a single pie if we can't bake it. I'll sharpen up the axe to cut our tree. Let the little ones make all the decorations and get back to the way it used to be. Let's have Christmas like Mama used to make it, back before we all had it made. Let's spend time spending love instead of money. Take a sleigh ride back into the good old days, for it's there that lies the strength of our family. The good Lord intended it this way, so this year let's do our best not to fake it. And let's have Christmas like Mama used to make it. Let's call Uncle Ed to tune that old piano. It's been too long since we've all sang Silent Night. Let the rest of the world have it their way, but this year we're gonna do it right. Let's have Christmas like Mama used to make it, back before we all had it made. Let's spend time spending love instead of money. Take a sleigh ride back into the good old days, for it's there that lies the strength of our family. The good Lord intended it this way, so this year let's do our best not to fake it. Let's have Christmas like Mama used to make it. Let's have Christmas like Mama used to make it.
Another year has gone by in the wake of a night. I ask myself, where did it go? It seems like yesterday I saw a reindeer and sleigh and heard Santa laughed, ho, ho, ho. But in the past year, one memory I hold dear of your love that's so kind and true. And all that I ask, like those years in the past, is to spend one more Christmas with you. You won't have to shop in Macy's, New York, for a gift tied with ribbons of blue. All that I ask, like the ones in the past, is to spend one more Christmas with you. It doesn't seem so long since our first Christmas morn, when there was just you and me, as each boy and each girl came into our world. Old Santa came into it too. Our children are grown with kids of their own. Once more there's just you and me. And all that I ask, like those years in the past, is to spend one more Christmas with you. You won't have to shop in Macy's, New York, for a gift tied with ribbons of blue. All that I ask, like the ones in the past, is to spend one more Christmas with you. All that I ask, like the ones in the past, is to spend one more Christmas with you.
Away in a manger, no crib for a bed, the little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the bright sky looked down where he lay, the little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. The cattle are lowing, the poor baby wakes, but little Lord Jesus no crying he makes. I love thee, Lord Jesus, look down from the sky and stay by my side until morning is nigh. Near me, Lord Jesus, I ask thee to stay close by me forever, and love me, I pray. Bless all the dear children in thy tender care, and take us to heaven to live with thee there.
Down his sweet head, The stars in the bright sky looked down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely little Lennon sisters.
How'd you like to spend Christmas on Christmas Island?
Hi, this is Kathy Lennon of the Lennon Sisters, and you're listening to our good friend Johnny Woodlock on the Wayback Country Christmas.
Wait for Santa to sail in with your presents in a canoe.
Well, yes, friends, once again, it's that time in the program to take our weekly trip up into the mighty Ottawa Valley. The valley we call our second home here at the Wayback Show. With that mentioned, we would like to send out some special Christmas greetings to some dear friends and family, of course. Especially my good friends and family, radio family that is, Uncle Ray and Aunt Margaret in Eganville, Ontario. For them today will be the Silver Fox, as he was often referred to, Ron McMunn, and his classic called Santa Looked a Lot Like Daddy. Then I'll follow with a song going out to my good friend Vic Garbett and his wife Linda May Garbett in Arnprior, Ontario. Just a reminder that Vic has a wonderful program every Sunday night, 7 to 10 over CJHR, Valley Heritage. And for them today will be a classic off Volume 7 of Christmas in the Valley series, and a song going out to them called Going Home for Christmas. That, of course, is sung by the voice of CKBY Radio back in the day, Ted Dago. Then we'll wrap up with another all-time classic, this time going out to my good friend Tom Wilson in Brockville, Ontario. For him today will be a song my good friend Miss Julie Johnston wrote and recorded called Christmas is Believing. With that, I will say good day to all my listeners up the Valley Way. Welcome in, friends, and happy listening.
Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa was much too thin. He didn't come down the chimney. Mama must have let him in. He sure looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. They thought that I was fast asleep in. They thought that I was tucked in bed. They never thought that I'd come peeping, or that I'd hear what was said. Santa put his arm around Mama. Mama put her arm around him. So if Santa Claus ain't Daddy, I'm a-gonna tell on them. Well, Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa was much too thin. He didn't come down the chimney. Well, Mama must have let him in. He sure looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. I never saw Dasher or Dancer. I never heard the sleigh bells ring. I never saw the red-nosed reindeer that showed us on the TV screen. But he sure brought a lot of presents, so Santa Claus must have been. Well, he sure looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. Well, Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa wasn't much too thin. He didn't come down the chimney, so Mama must have let him in. He sure looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him.
Going home again to see our friends and loved ones and to hear the sleigh bells ring. We will gather round the fireside as we did in days of you see we're on our way? We're going home once more. The bells will all be ringing, and all the fires will be aglow, and our hearts will all be singing as we go gliding through the snow. Yes, once more we'll build a snowman, and we'll stand him by the door. Now can't you see we're on our way? We're going home once more. We'll be grand to see our neighbor that we knew way back when, and to have an old time party. How I long for them again. Choo-choo train, just keep on rocking. Come on and let the good times roll. Now can't you see we're on our way? We're going home once more. Yes, we're going home for Christmas. It's been such a long, long time since we've all been together where the family used to dine. They will come from all directions, from the hill and from the shore. This is a day we're on our way. We're going home once more.
Christmas is believing that when Jesus Christ was born, God came down from heaven on that first Christmas morn. Christmas is believing the gift to all mankind was wrapped and laid in a manger, and by faith you can find. You just can't have a Christmas without believing, but you can have His gift of love this holy season. There's so much more to Christmas than just a feeling. In my heart I know that Christmas is believing. Christmas is believing. 2,000 years ago, the light shone in the darkness, and the world didn't know. Christmas is believing the Savior is Christ the Lord, and if you will believe Him, we will live forevermore. You just can't have a Christmas without believing, but you can have His gift of love this holy season. There's so much more to Christmas than just a feeling. In my heart I know that Christmas is believing.
Christmas in the valley.
Hi everybody, this is Wayne Rostad, and you're listening to the Wayback Country Christmas with my good friend Johnny Woodblock.
Dance of falling snow, it's Christmas in the valley.
Now, friends, I have a very special guest of honor on our Wayback Country Christmas celebration to the Irish Rovers. That, of course, is my longtime friend for the last decade, about 10 years or so. But he always was a good friend of mine even before my radio career started. That, of course, is the legendary co-founder of the Irish Rovers, George Millar. Now, in this part one of a three-part interview, we will pay tribute to some memories of how the unicorn came about. So with that, we will follow this part of the interview, of course, with a 1967 all-time classic called The Unicorn. Please welcome to the Wayback Country Christmas, in time for Christmas 2025, my good friend, and a good friend of yours as well, George Millar, who is celebrating 60 years in Irish country music. Welcome in, friends, and here's George Millar of the Irish Rovers.
Good morning.
Good morning, George. How are you today?
Good. What about yourself?
Very good, very good. It's a pleasure to be talking to you again. Yes.
Yes, it's we've been very blessed, of course, with all of the fans that have supported us all these years, and you couldn't ask for anything better. When they keep coming out to see us, and we're, like I say, Johnny, we're very blessed to have them. That's all I can say. And without the fans, nobody can really do anything in music. You have to have the support of the fans, and we've had them over the years, and God bless them all. I love them all.
Well, we love you guys too, and we always will. Yes, for sure.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
So let's go back to when and where you guys were from. You were from Ireland, of course.
Yes, born and raised in a place called Ballymena, Northern Ireland, which is about 35 miles north of Belfast. I was raised in that part of the world, as my brother Will was. Then we immigrated to Toronto. We ended up in Toronto when I was about 12 years old.
Okay.
And 4 years after that, about 2 years after that, I met Jimmy Ferguson, who also had just immigrated from Belfast as well. So we would meet, we'd do little Christmas shows, and also, for all of the Scot and all of the English and the Welsh and the Irish that had congregated in Toronto, and there'd be little concerts every second week.
Yeah.
And of course, it was Christmas concerts, and that's how I met Jimmy at one of these concerts. And we started talking, and he was a bit older than me, but I found him very funny and very interesting. And he was singing in those days, which was early rock and roll. He was singing songs from Lonnie Donegan, who was a big star in England. It was called skiffle music, and it was sort of folk music with a rocking sound behind it, and that's what he was singing. The Rock Island Line is a mighty good line, that type of song.
Okay,
yes. So we started. It was sort of like country with a bit of a rock beat behind it, or like rockabilly almost, things like that. And that's how the Beatles started too. They were called the Quarrymen, and they were singing that same sort of material with drums behind them and singing folky type country songs. So that's how I met Jimmy. And about 2 years after that, I had just turned 16. We decided, let's give this a bit of a try, because we were singing Irish songs, and people were really quite receptive in those days. Of course, the folk music was all of the rage, and so we were singing Irish folk songs that we knew from school, and that's how Jimmy and I caught on. Then my cousin Joe, he immigrated, and in those days, you came to live with someone you knew. So Joe lived with us for about the first year, and he also joined the band, and I knew that he could play the accordion, and he also had a nice, sweet, deep voice for ballads. Then there was the three of us, and then we started getting all sorts of little jobs around Toronto. We would make $20 for a weekend, and we were delighted. That's a lot of money.
Yes,
we thought we made it. And then we went out to Alberta for the summer, where my brother was playing, and out there Will was playing.
Mm-hmm.
So then Will joined the band, and that was it. And from there we went down to California and started doing some folk clubs down in California, and that's where we sort of got recognized, or not recognized, but that's where we got some notoriety behind us, because the Irish songs were different than the usual Four Strong Winds and Tom Dooley, and all of the bands were sort of singing those same soft folk songs. Well, here we came along with these rowdy Irish songs, and we made a lot of friends in California, and that's how the whole thing started. It was really it was a lot of work. In the first 5 years, we worked all of the clubs across America, from New York all the way up through Toronto, across Canada, and back down to California, Arizona, and then back through America. And we did that for about 4 or 5, almost 6 years.
So like a full circle then.
Well, it was. And it was, you know what it was, Johnny? It was learning your craft as well. If you talk to any of the older stars of like country music or rock and roll, or it doesn't matter what genre it is, they all had to put in their time. And that's probably how you get to learn to, work well with an audience, and you write songs on the road because you have a lot of time in cars and things like that. So I think that's how you learn your craft. You can't it's very seldom that somebody comes along and overnight when they're 17 years old become a superstar. Now it does happen, and it's I actually always feel sorry for those people because I don't think they understand, and they don't quite.
And they wash up before their time. Right. A lot of them, yes.
That's right. They get all of this money thrown at them, and they're not even hardly 18 years old. Exactly. And of course, they sometimes go off the rails, and that's what happens when it happens so quickly like that. So anyway, in our case, it didn't. And then along came the Unicorn song in 1968. It was 67, 68, and that sort of changed everything. We went from the folk clubs of North America, onto the stages of the world. New Zealand, Australia, England, Ireland, Scotland, Canada, of course, is our main place, and we're still doing it today. And I always say, well, the people haven't figured it out yet that we're just regular people, and they keep coming back to see us. And I said, that's good. As long as they want to keep coming to see us, we'll keep doing it yet for a year or two.
Well,
so
I'm glad.
Yeah. So to answer your question, that was an awful long answer, but that's how it started, Johnny.
For sure. Now, the Unicorn you were mentioning is coming up on, I guess, 60 years now. In 1967, it was released.
That's right. It's a long time ago when the earth was green.
Exactly.
And there was more kinds of animals than you've ever seen.
Yes. So how did you guys get a hold of that song? I know we've mentioned this before.
Well, okay, what happened was my brother got a hold of the song. He was singing in Calgary on a little children's show that he had called Just for Fun.
Yes.
And it was at 4 o'clock every afternoon for 15 minutes. And he would just him and his guitar, and he had all these little live kids at his feet. And he'd sing folk songs, like children's songs from Ireland and everywhere else. Well, he was getting tired of Puff the Magic Dragon and things like that. So he found the Unicorn on an album of Shel Silverstein, his name was. And he was, in those days, he was sort of a beat poet. And most of his songs didn't really have much of a tune, but he had all these great words. And one of the songs, and it was more of a talking blues, was the Unicorn. So Will sort of took that, and then when we came along, Jimmy and I, then we all sort of worked on this song, and we put a tune together with it, and we made the tune a bit better. And then we started doing it in the nightclubs we were playing, and everybody seemed to really stop and listen to this little song. I mean, we were doing all of these Bush, there is whiskey, you're the devil type songs, and then we would throw in the little Unicorn, and people would stop what they were doing and really listen to the song. And we knew that it was a special song. Now, it was more of a children's song, but it just seemed to work. So we did it for probably about 4, I would say almost the full 5 years of our early club days, folk clubs. We always did the Unicorn. So when we came to record our first album, when we were asked by Decca Records in Universal City to do an album, that little song came out of there. And because they had said, do you have anything a wee bit different than all these Irish songs? And we said, well, we do this thing called the Unicorn, which people seem to like. And said the producer at the time said, okay, let me hear that song. So we played it for him, and he said, oh, that's different. That's a good little song. We'll record that tomorrow morning when you come in. And then the next morning when we came in to record, there was this young fella sitting there with a guitar, and we knew immediately who it was. It was Glenn Campbell.
Exactly.
And he was going to play lead guitar on the song. And we said, great, because we knew him he had played with the Rooftop Singers. He played with the Beach Boys. He backed up Burl Ives. So he did all of these great. So he was well known in the guitar, not as a singer or entertainer, but as a great guitar player.
Yeah.
And we were so happy and privileged to have him play on the record. And we got along with him smashingly well. And of course, his little licks were that. He was that lick that played that. And that's the type of thing that made the song. So it was, our hats off to Glenn Campbell all those years. And then I heard he was doing a show in Toronto a few years later, and he said, I just want to thank the Irish Rovers. They're my lucky band because they were the last people I ever played with before my own song, Gentle on My Mind, became a big hit for him. And that was the truth. We were the very last session, and about a week after that session was over, he released Gentle on My Mind. And of course, from there, he just took off like he should have.
And became a star of his own, exactly.
He became a huge country star and rock and roll star and everything else. And too bad that he's gone on a bit early, but he was magnificent. And he, right to the day he died, he was just a super guitarist as well as a good singer and just a nice man.
A long time ago when the earth was green and there was more kinds of animals than you'd ever seen, they'd run around free while the earth was being born. But the loveliest of them all was the unicorn. There was green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. Now God seen some sinning and it gave him pain, and he says, stand back, I'm going to make it rain. He says, hey brother Noah, I'll tell you what to do. Build me a floating zoo and take some of them green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, don't you forget my unicorn. Old Noah was there to answer the call. He finished up making the ark just as the rain started falling. He marched in the animals 2 by 2, and he called out as they went through, hey Lord, I got you green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but Lord, I'm so forlorn, I just can't see no unicorn. Then Noah looked out through the driving rain. Them unicorns were hiding, playing silly games, kicking and splashing while the rain was pouring. Oh, them silly unicorns. There was green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees. Noah cried, close the door, 'cause the rain is pouring, and we just can't wait for no unicorn. The ark started moving, it drifted with the tides, and them unicorns looked up from the rocks and they cried, and the waters came down and sort of floated them away. And that's why you never seen a unicorn to this very day. You'll see green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn.
And hear my radio come to life with music from my favorite bluegrass show.
Now look at me, baby, I'm on the way gone.
Can you hear the lonesome dove?
Howdy friends and listeners, this here's your old host with most. I'd like to tell you all about the 2026 Gallup Canal Bluegrass Festival. Coming up this summer of 2026, happening from June 17th to the 20th, where you can see some of the greatest bluegrass legends of today, such as Jackson Hollow, High River, and of course, our headliner, Junior Sisk. The full weekend pass only costs $120 in advance. That's until June 1st to 2026. However, there will also be day passes available at the gate. So get yours today by visiting gallupcanalbluegrass.ca or by contacting Barb at 613-543-3114. See y'all there, friends.
Where we vow to love each other.
Heavenly angel, I'm where I belong, right here in your arms.
So how about you? I'm hooked on bluegrass music. It's the only drug I use.
Well, yes, friends, I do hope you all enjoyed that first part of 3-part interview with our good friend of the Irish Rovers, none other than George Millar. It is once again that time in the program to salute the segment I like to call the Vinyl Blast from Christmas Vinyl Past. With that mentioned, we must open the vinyl vault door first. now that the final vault door is wide open, I'd once again like to turn back the years to 49 years ago in 1976 when Don Herron, who will forever be remembered as Charlie Ferguson, recorded a Christmas album called Doesn't Anybody Here Know It's Christmas, which actually celebrates its 50th anniversary next year, this coming year of 2026, originally released in 1976, and that is, of course, Charlie Ferguson's Christmas album. Now, Charlie will be remembered for his KORN news anchor role on the old Hee Haw show. So he also was a well-respected actor and comedian in the Canadian Hall of Fame. With that, we would like to pay tribute to a song, or rather a recitation and storytelling of Charlie's version of Charles Dickens' old classic called A Christmas Carol, but it's going to be called Your Christmas Carol. With that, here now is Charlie Ferguson.
Your Christmas Carol is about a fella never believed in Christmas. Now, when I say Carl, I don't mean all them nice old songs we sing like Landlord, the Bowl is Overflowing, and God Rest You Murray, the Gentile Man. I'm talking about a Christmas ghost story about an old skinny flint called Ebony Sneezer Scrooge. It was told off a long time ago by that old Englishman, Charlie, I forget what the Dickens' last name was. Because the name everybody remembers from the end of his tale is Tiny Tim. Now, I don't mean the tall, skinny hippie with the ringlets down to his giblets. Used to teeto through the tulips on his ukulele while he sang in a falsetto teeth. I mean the Tiny Tim what was the youngest son of Bob Scratchit. The dumb clerk worked for Scrooge. I know it's supposed to be clerk, but them old English mispronounce everything, and since this is an old English story, I didn't want to sound like a big jerk. Now, by the by, this Scratchit fella was called Bob, because that's about how much he'd earn in a day working for Scrooge. I don't know how much that is in real cents, because in the last few years, them Englishmen has decimated their currency down from your LSD. Well, anyways, when it come to handing it out, old Scrooge was meaner than the average temperature round about our parts this time of year. As for keeping Christmas, he ignored the whole rang-dang-do with his undivided attention. And he was madder than a wet hatter when he had to give the whole of Christmas Day off to that poor boob Scratchit. So Christmas Eve, Bob, he run all the way home to Cabbage Town for to give his wife a little goose to put in her little oven. For no matter how poor you are, on Christmas Eve, everybody can use a little oven. Scrooge, he went home, too. Kicked a few widows and orphans on his way, just to keep in practice, and then sat by his fire and heated up a bowl of drool for his supper. Well, that's what they call oatmeal porridge when it's made with a lot of water. Drool. Well, sir, all of a sudden, as old Scrooge sat there drooling, across from him, on the t'other side of your fire, peered his old business partner, Jacob Morley. Now, this upset Scrooge, and his drool, too, because old Morley had been dead for 7 years, and Scrooge could see right through him. Now, mind you, most people can see through their partners when they're giving them the business, long before that. But old Morley weren't really sitting there, just his ghost, what they call your hell of hallucination. That's why he done all that woo-woo stuff and rattled his cash boxes and pulled his chain. For to warn old Scrooge that if he didn't shape up and get into the right Christmas spirits, he'd end up in your rigid mortis walking the same picket line for your ghostal union. And just before old Morley passed out completely through the wall, he told old Scrooge that he'd be visited by 3 more screaming Mimis. That'll be 3 ghosts, not your 3 Scrooges. The first of which was your ghost of Christmases behind. And no sooner had Morley knocked off than Christmases behind punched in. Not to warn him about the future, but to tell him to watch his step as he took him back through the pasture. All of a sudden, it all happened in a flashback. There was old Scrooge watching young Scrooge on the reruns. At first, Scrooge didn't like having the reruns. But soon he got full of neuralgia watching himself cutting up a rug at old Fuzzywig's office party. But Scrooge got switched to another channel when in come your second ghost of Christmas presents. Something Scrooge had never give to nobody. This time he seen how poor Bob Scratchit celebrated Christmas, feeding his whole family with hardly a pot to scrape in, and all Tiny Tim could say was, "God help us, everyone." Then come a grim expector indeed, your ghost of what's to come if you don't smart up. And he showed Scrooge what would happen after he passed into the behind of your beyond. And how the only goodwill he'd leave behind was some second-hand clothes. I tell you, Scrooge woke up from that team of nightmares a deformed man. And from that time on, Christmas to him was one big turkey, which he had delivered regular as clockwork to that little wishbone of a Tiny Tim. And the morale of this story is, don't be mean to other people at Christmas, or you'll end up Scrooge yourself.
Now, friends, we have reached the end of the first hour of our program today, dedicated to Christmas music on the Wayback Country Christmas. As you play us into the second hour of this morning's program, for 2025, the second official Christmas program, I'd like to share a couple of sacred gospel-inspired Christmas carols. First will be the Cherokee Cowboy, Ray Price, and his version of The Little Drummer Boy. Then we'll follow with the Irish Rovers once again and their classic version of the true gospel favorite called We Three Kings. With that, I'd like to welcome y'all in and say good morning to each and every one of you listening in on the Wayback Country Christmas here on CFRC 1019 FM and also www.oshawarocks.com. With that, I hope to talk to y'all on the other side of the hour. Welcome in, friends.
Come, they told me, pum-pum-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pum-pum-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pum-pum-pum-pum. They lay before our king, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. So to honor him, rum-pum-pum-pum, when we come, little baby, rum-pum-pum-pum, I am a poor boy too, rum-pum-pum-pum. I have no gift to bring, rum-pum-pum-pum, that's fit to give our king, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. Shall I play for him, rum-pum-pum-pum, on my drum? I played my drum for him, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I played my best for him, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. And my drum.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright. Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again. King forever, ceasing never, over us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright. Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh. Prayer and praising, all men raising, worshipping God most high.
Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright. Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Myrrh is mine, its perfume so sweet. Blessed child, we kneel at thy feet. Alleluia, alleluia, earth to the heavens repeats.
Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright. Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright. Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Who, me? I'm Johnny Woodlock.
Oh, well, then that's okay. Okay, who, may I ask, are you?
Well, I'm Johnny Woodlock, your old host with the most country western music and this time of year, Christmas music. Right here on the Wayback Country Christmas, airing every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 over historic CFRC 119 FM. Stay tuned here, friends, and Merry Country Christmas out there in Radio World.
Oh, well, then that's okay.
Well, yes, friends, following those classic gospel favorites, we're once again back here on the Wayback Country Christmas, second edition of our Wayback Country Christmas broadcast. With that, we would like to remind y'all that we are still coming to you via the Woodlock Ranch and Studios in Cornwall, Ontario, where this is recorded weekly. Yes, we can also be heard over your local radio dial throughout the Frontenac County at CFRC 119 FM, as well as through TuneIn and all points in between, including Alexa. We can also be heard via our home in the Greater Toronto Area and the Durham counties through www.oshawarocks.com, where our show is uploaded weekly. With that all mentioned, we can also be found another way, and that is YouTube at Wayback with Johnny Woodlock on YouTube. As I welcome y'all to this, the second hour of today's program, I'd like to remind y'all that at CFRC 119 FM, they're in the middle of their yearly funding drive for 2025. With that shared, this station needs your generous support in keeping it going for another 100 years. Right now, we're sitting at 103 years, but at a time when so many broadcasting companies are going under and the future of broadcast is so underappreciated, the future of our old limestone city, CFRC 119 FM, really needs your support in keeping this station going into the future. So with that, you can find out more at cfrc.ca. Now, I'd like to open the second hour here this morning with a double feature of a dear friend of mine, actually two dear friends of mine, who are brother and sister. One is, of course, when you think of Ireland and Irish music, you of course think of Daniel O'Donnell. So it'll be his all-time classic called Christmas Long Ago. Then we'll follow with his sister Margot and her recently recorded Christmas in Ireland. With that, I would like to welcome y'all to this, the second hour of this weekend's program. Welcome in, friends, and happy listening.
That's the way it used to be, Christmas long ago.
There used to be a Christmas tree in the center of the square, and it was strung with Christmas lights and laced with angel hair. All the windows of the shops were decorated bright, shoppers rushing everywhere for a gift so right. Little kids are making snowmen in their neighbor's yard, Christmas carolers singing in a manger he was born, lovers strolling hand in hand on streets of winter snow. That's the way it used to be, Christmas long ago. I still love Christmas, I love it so, the way it used to be so long ago, with Christmas plays and mistletoe, caroling and big red bows. It's Christmas long ago. It used to be on Christmas Eve I'd listen from my bed for the sound of sleigh bells and reindeer overhead. I always seemed to fall asleep, no matter how I tried. But in my dreams old Santa came and took me for a ride. The next thing that I knew, my mom and dad were at my door, saying, Merry Christmas, it's the day you've waited for. A single star above our tree, I still can see its glow. That's the way it used to be, Christmas long ago. I still love Christmas, I love it so. The way it used to be so long ago, with Christmas plays and mistletoe, caroling and big red bows. It's Christmas long ago. Yes, that's the way it used to be, Christmas long ago.
A snow-covered blanket creeps over the hill. A little bird singing on my windowsill. The folk in the village look happy and grand. It's Christmas in Ireland, there's peace in our land. The flame from the candle is glowing so bright. We'll pray for our loved ones not with us tonight. Foe becomes friend with one shake of your hand. It's Christmas in Ireland, there's peace in our land. The angels are singing from heaven above, a song for the world filled with peace, hope, and love. The smiles from the children, their hearts full of fun, patiently waiting for Santa to come. The world keeps on changing, so let's understand. It's Christmas in Ireland, there's peace in our land. Yes, the angels are singing from heaven above, a song for the world filled with peace, hope, and love. The smiles from the children, their hearts full of fun, patiently waiting for Santa to come. The world keeps on changing, so let's understand. It's Christmas in Ireland, there's peace in our land. Christmas in Ireland, peace in our land.
Now, friends, it's once again that time in the program to welcome a very special guest of honor onto our program this morning. That, of course, is our beloved companion and furry mascot, Simbush the Wonder Husky. As we welcome Simbush to our program this morning with her top favorites of the 1982 first Christmas album of the Irish Rovers, we would like to salute this first album, which was called A Night Like This. And first of all, we'll hear an all-time classic called Merry Bloody Xmas. We'll then follow with Rock Along Christmas and wrap up with another early classic of the Christmas songs by the Irish Rovers and a song called Honky Tonk Christmas. With that, I would like to say thank you to our beloved Simbush the Wonder Husky for her contribution to today's program, and also
I had a big night last night, drinking Molson X. And on the way home, I had 3 wrecks. I woke up this morning, took 2 Summon-X. And that wife of mine, she's now my ex. Well, I got myself evicted from my duplex. Moved into a half-ton van with an annex. Fridge full of beer, my old dog Rex. But at least I'm done with a wife. She's now my ex. Merry Xmas to me. A dog threw up all over the Xmas tree. They repossessed my color TV. Merry bloody Xmas to me. My car's off the road for having defects. And I said to myself, jeez, what next? My wife dropped in for her alimony checks. So I threw her in the lake. Now she's my wet ex. Merry Xmas to me. The dog threw up all over the Xmas tree. They repossessed the color TV. Oh, merry bloody Xmas to me. So I sat there drinking all my Molson X, chucking the empties with my old dog Rex. Stupid bloody mutt stuck his head in the Molinex. You guessed it, he's now my ex Rex. Merry Xmas to me. The dog threw up all over the Xmas tree. They repossessed my color TV. Merry bloody Xmas to me. Merry Xmas to me. The dog threw up all over the Xmas tree. They repossessed my color TV. Merry bloody Xmas to me. Merry Xmas to me. The dog threw up all over the Xmas tree. They repossessed my color TV. Merry bloody Xmas to me. Rock along Christmas, rock along Christmas. Have a rock along Christmas, rock along Christmas. The world's just fine when I'm singing in time to a rock along Christmas song. Now here comes another Yuletide. And please don't get me wrong, I really don't mind those tired old rhymes of the good old Christmas song. But this year's gonna be different. Gonna call my guitar man, bring a saxophone and an old trombone, and we'll have ourselves a rockin' band. And we'll be singing rock along Christmas, rock along Christmas. Have a rock along Christmas, rock along Christmas. The world's just fine when I'm singing in time to a rock along Christmas song. Big Mike plays piano, Joe will be pumping bass. All the boys are here, they're drinking my beer and jumping all over the place. Now I don't mind Christmas carols, people singing soft and low, but I really
they'll be singing, rock along Christmas, rock along Christmas. Have a rock along Christmas, rock along Christmas. The world's just fine with them singing in time to a rock along Christmas song. Rock along Christmas, rock along Christmas. Have a rock along Christmas, rock along Christmas. The world's just fine with them singing in time to a rock along Christmas song. Left me in the spring, the snow was melting. I grieved all through the summer and the fall. But now it's deep December, it's too hard to remember. I'm going out and have myself a ball. It's gonna be a honky-tonk Christmas this year. Since you've gone, I can't go on no more. The house just seems so empty, your memory's so near. It's gonna be a honky-tonk Christmas this year. I'm walking down the street, the snow is falling. The bottle in my pocket keeps me warm. The lights all hurt my eyes, they roll about and make me cry. I've got to find some shelter from the storm, because it's gonna be a honky-tonk Christmas this year. Since you've gone, oh, I can't go on no more. My life just seems so empty, and your memory's so dear. It's gonna be a honky-tonk Christmas this year. They're playing Christmas records on the jukebox. On Brenda Lee, they're rocking round the tree. I feel so all alone, girl. Oh, I wish you'd come back home. 'Cause happiness is just a memory, and it's gonna be a honky-tonk Christmas this year. Since you've gone, oh, I can't go home no more. The house just seems too empty, and your memory's so dear. It's gonna be a honky-tonk Christmas this year. It's gonna be a honky-tonk Christmas this year.
Hey there, this is Jason Coleman, grandson of Floyd Kramer, and you're listening to my good friend Johnny Woodlock on the Wayback with Johnny show. Merry Christmas from the Coleman and Kramer family.
Now, friends, it's once again that time in the program to pay tribute to the great Canadian Northern gems by even greater Canadian Northern legends. With that shared, let's begin with the legendary Hal Willis, who will forever be remembered for his classic, The Lumberjack, back in the 60s, which gained him the fame of the Lumberjack of country music. It'll be an all-time classic called Santa and the Lumberjack. We'll follow with the Manitoba legend, Stu Clayton, often referred to as the yodeling farmer of Canadian country music. From Stu will be the Christmas Yodel, and then we'll wrap up this set with another all-time Canadian icon, and that, of course, is none other than Miss Carol Baker, our first lady of country music in Canada, and also our queen of Canadian country music. And from her, it'll be an all-time favorite called Rudolph. With that, I hope y'all enjoy these truly Canadian iconic Christmas favorites, and welcome in, friends. Happy listening.
Once again, old Christmas time is round the corner, and everybody's out there shopping for a tree. A tree so full and tall to be the envy of them all, with Christmas decorations for all the world to see. But this year it's been a real hard proposition, for Santa's been hurting in his knees. So he's hired himself a man, the best in all the land, and now he's out there cutting Santa's Christmas trees. Santa's hired the lumberjack to cut his Christmas trees. With a ho-ho here and a chippy-chop there's wood chips in the breeze. Santa's hired the lumberjack, and they sure make quite a pair, sitting atop a loaded sleigh, flying through the air. When you hear those famous jingling bells a ringing, you'll know that Santa's been as busy as a bee. When you wake up in the morn, get started popping corn to hang below the angel on your Christmas tree. No need to worry about a Christmas tree this season, for the lumberjack's been on a cutting spree. He's been seen everywhere, he's the answer to our prayer. And now Santa and his elves are singing merrily. Santa's hired the lumberjack to cut his Christmas trees. With a ho-ho here and a chippy-chop there's wood chips in the breeze. Santa and the lumberjack, they sure make quite a pair, sitting atop a loaded sleigh, flying through the air.
Gather round the Christmas tree and sing this little song with me. Take a deep breath, 1, 2, 3, and sing the Christmas yodel. Santa Claus will soon be here, bringing lots of Christmas cheer. It's the best time of the year, so sing the Christmas yodel. Ringing across the way, hear the children laugh and play. It will soon be Christmas Day, so sing the Christmas yodel. Just gather around the Christmas tree and sing this little song with me. Take a deep breath, 1, 2, 3, and sing the Christmas yodel.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus.
Hey Johnny, Santa Claus here wishes your many listeners at the Wayback with Johnny a very Merry Christmas. Keep playing that great country music and I'll be seeing you very soon.
Santa Claus is coming, Santa Claus is coming to town.
Well, yes, friends, once again, it's that time in the program to welcome our very special member of our morning team, none other than Gunny, our dash hound, to our program. However small she may be, she sure makes it up with a giant personality, so let's pay tribute to Gunny's top favorites of the Irish Rovers' later recordings of Christmas music. First, we're going to hear an all-time classic called Good King Wenceslas. We'll then follow with Bells Over Belfast and wrap up with Three Jolly Rogues. With that mentioned, I do hope y'all enjoyed Gunny's top favorites here this morning, and yes, these are from the Irish Rovers Christmas collection. Welcome in, friends, and Merry Christmas, little girl.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon at night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel.
Hither, page, and stand by me, if thou know'st its telling, yonder peasant, who is he, where and what his dwelling?
Sire, he lives a good league hence, underneath the mountain, right against the forest fence, by St. Agnes fountain.
Bring me mead and bring me wine, bring me pine logs hither, thou and I will see him dine, when we bear him thither. Page and monarch forth they went together, through the rude winds wild lament, and the bitter weather.
Sire, the night is darker now, and the wind blows stronger, fills my heart, I know not how, I can go no longer.
Mark my footsteps, my good page, tread thou in them boldly, thou shalt find the winter's rage freeze thy blood less coldly.
In his master's steps he trod, where the snow lay dinted. Heat was in the very sod, which the saint had printed. Therefore, Christian men, be sure, wealth or rank possessing, ye who now will bless the poor, shall yourselves find blessing.
The Antrim hills are dark and still, and the snow is tumbling down. This Christmas time there's hope again for all in Belfast town. With love and understanding we'll find a better way. The gift of peace is ours now upon this Christmas day.
Bells over Belfast, how merrily they play. Peace and joy be with you on this Christmas day.
A star of light it filled the night many years ago, when the Magi found the blessed child who set our hearts aglow. And since that day of wonder we'll live forevermore. We hail the newborn King of Kings who opened heaven's door.
Bells over Belfast, how merrily they play. Peace and joy be with you on this Christmas day.
Well, then dance and sing the new year in and share a cup of cheer and drink to health and happiness throughout the coming year. We'll put our differences aside, our troubles all behind, and drink a cup of kindness yet for days of auld lang syne. Bells over Belfast, how merrily they play. Peace and joy be with you on this Christmas Day. Bells over Belfast, how merrily they play. Peace and joy be with you on this Christmas Day.
Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on a Christmas Eve. We'll have a pint of Guinness, boys, before we take our leave.
Yes, a pint of Guinness before we take our leave. Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on a Christmas Eve. We'll have a glass of wine, boys, before we take our leave. A glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave.
Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on a Christmas Eve. We'll have a half an hour whiskey, boys, before we take our leave.
A half an hour whiskey, a glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave.
Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on a Christmas Eve. We'll have a mug of ale, boys, before we take our leave.
A mug of ale, a half an hour whiskey, a glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave. Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on the Christmas Eve. We'll have a dram of scotch, boys, before we take our leave. A dram of scotch, a mug of ale, a half an hour whiskey, a glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave.
Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on a Christmas Eve. We'll have a tot of rum, boys, before we take our leave.
A tot of rum, a dram of scotch, a mug of ale, a half an hour whiskey, a glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave. Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on the Christmas Eve. We'll have a jug of punch, boys, before we take our leave. A jug of punch, a tot of rum, a dram of scotch, a mug of ale, a half an hour whiskey, a glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave.
Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on the Christmas Eve. We'll have a jar of meat, boys, before we take our leave.
A jar of meat, a jug of punch, a tot of rum, a dram of scotch, a mug of ale, a half an hour whiskey, a glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave.
Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on a Christmas Eve. We'll have a jigger of gin, boys, before we take our leave.
A jigger of gin, a jar of meat, a jug of punch, a tot of rum, a dram of scotch, a mug of ale, a half an hour whiskey, a glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave. Three jolly rogues stopped in a pub all on the Christmas Eve. We'll have a sniffer of brandy, boys, before we take our leave. A sniffer of brandy, a jigger of gin, a jar of meat, a jug of punch, a tot of rum, a dram of scotch, a mug of ale, a half an hour whiskey, a glass of wine and a pint of Guinness before we take our leave.
Christmas! Sentimental hogwash. I want to listen to Johnny Woodlock. Well, you're in luck, Mr. Potter, because Johnny Woodlock is presenting his Wayback Country Christmas show every Sunday. It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, yes, friends, once again, it's that time in the program to pay tribute to the second half of this great interview with our good friend George Millar, original member of the Irish Rovers, who first formed the Irish Rovers with Jimmy Ferguson back in 1963. With that mentioned, this next interview, we talk about a classic called Miss Fogarty's Christmas Cake and some of George's Christmas memories from growing up in Ireland. With that, I would like to invite my good friend George Millar once again to our program in this, our second half of this great interview. Welcome in, friends. Now here's George. So let's go back to Christmas for a few minutes. What was it like growing up in Ireland at Christmas time for you?
Well, Christmas time in Ireland was always lovely, and if we were lucky, we might get some snow. It was a bit like, it's almost on the same line of weather-wise as Belfast and Vancouver are similar. So we would get we'd maybe get like a week or 10 days of snow, and then it would be gone, and then the rain would come back. So that's why I live here in Victoria, so I'm used to the weather. It's very much like Ireland. So Christmas for us there wasn't much money, of course, in those days. None of us had money. We thought we were okay, but we were actually very poor. We didn't know it. Our parents were great to us, and Christmas morning there was always some sort of a little toy for us. My father would make little wooden toys, and we always got fruit was hard to get. This was early 19 about 49, 1950. So for instance, we would all hang our stockings, and under our stockings we'd get all sorts of sweeties, little candies, but there would always be an orange, and it was amazing to get oranges in those days. Like, you just couldn't buy them. So once in a while they would come in, and of course my mother would rush off to the market and get these for Christmas. So we'd all have an orange, and we were just delighted. And there would be an apple in there, and some little toys, some little trinkets, and then lots of sweeties. And that was our main thing, was opening up our stockings. There would be a gift or two, and we had the Christmas tree, so it was very similar that way. But the day itself was, my mother would be doing the cooking, and there would be some sort of not necessarily a turkey, but there might be a duck, or there might be a ham. Say money was not ready available. Parents worked all their lives, and there would be something special that day for dinner, and it was always great to have it. And the whole day would be filled with music, because we were a musical family, and not having a TV, and I don't even think we had a radio for the first few years of my life anyway. I can't even remember that. So you made your own music. So my father played the accordion. My two uncles, his brothers, would come in the afternoon with, one had a fiddle, one had a banjo, and the whole house would be just rocking all day long with music, and other people would drop in. And of course, in those days when people dropped in, well, you always have to make them tea and maybe offer them sandwiches or something. So it was a house full of music and love. That's the main thing that I remember. And it wasn't so much about presents, because like I say, our big treat was getting an orange.
Exactly. And I remember when I was a kid, the orange was always in the toe of the stocking myself. Yes.
Absolutely. That was always on the bottom. And
same
you could
idea.
Feel it. Yes. And you always got excited because you could feel it in the morning. Said, "Oh, I think I've got an orange." Or
exactly.
Maybe it's an apple, but an apple would be okay. But an orange was extremely top of the line gift for us. And then, like I say, a wee toy. My father would make wee toys, like little wooden toys. I have one of them still after all these years. I do have one. I wish I'd have kept more of them, because they were, when somebody makes something for you, it doesn't matter what it is, some simple little thing, it's so much more special than going to a shop and buying a toy that comes from China or something. It really is, to me anyway. So that's what we do, and that's what we did for all of those Irish Christmases. And of course, you always went out for a spell. You'd go out and take a nice walk. If it was snowing, of course, we'd be out and trying to find a hill, and you take a piece of cardboard and you slide down that hill. If you were really lucky and doing well, then one of the kids might have a sled, so you'd all take turns on the sled and going down little hills. And so probably very much like, the only thing different than Canadian Christmases is that we didn't have ice skating. We didn't have ice, and we didn't have skates. So that was probably the only difference. Other than that, I think it was pretty the same all over the world. Just a family day, and you usually had an early dinner. Usually the dinner would be anywhere between 2 and 4. And so you had that big meal was going to be earlier. It didn't come late at night. And then if you got hungry, later on, you might just have a piece of chicken and a sandwich or something.
For sure.
But a day of love, and a day of lots of music in our case. And that was our Christmas. And It was great. We loved it.
Now, tell us about a song of Miss Fogarty's Christmas Cake. Now, that's one of my all-time favorites of yours.
Yeah, it's a funny little song, and
Yes, it is.
you know, Christmas is a very serious time for many people, and that's fine too. But it's also a humorous time for lots of us, and we look at the humor. I've always looked at the humor in everything, and this is a funny little song about this woman makes this cake, and of course it's not literally killing people, but it's making them very ill, because it's as hard as cardboard, and they have to chisel a piece of it off. And
Exactly.
she keeps offering it, and the people keep saying, "Oh no, thank you, I've had enough, Mrs. Fogarty." She's saying, "Go on, you must have another piece." Of course, to be polite in Ireland, no matter how bad things were, you would eat it. If somebody offered you something and you went to somebody's house,
Yes.
I remember going somewhere with my mother and father, and they had offered us something, and I took a bite, and I said to my mother under my breath, "I hate this," and she says, "Eat it."
I say yes.
Otherwise, it would be very impolite if you were offered something and you didn't eat it. So I used to have to just try and get some of it down.
And gag it down, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when somebody wasn't looking, you take a chunk of it and put it in the Kleenex and put it in your pocket.
Exactly.
There, I'm all finished. I'm done. Okay, can I go out and play now? Yes, go on out and play and leave us alone.
So where did that song originate from?
It's actually in New York. It was written in Tin Pan Alley, New York, back in the 20s.
Okay.
So it was written by an Irish fella in New York, but it was not actually written in Ireland. And what happened with a lot of these songs, like, well, Danny Boy, I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen, all of those old Irish standards, most of them were written in New York.
Oh, I
as
never
we
knew
used to
that.
say jokingly by Italians for their German wives. But that's not true. They were, like, for instance, one of the songs we do on the Christmas CD is Christmas in Killarney. That's right. It's written by three Irish fellas but they had immigrated to New York. So a lot of those type of songs were written in New York, but by Irish people, because they were immigrants and they were missing their hometown or homeland, and so they would write Irish songs, and that's where a lot of those songs came from.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So Mrs. Fogarty is a New York Irish song, as you like
Well,
to
it's
call
a classic nonetheless, for sure, George.
it. It is, and it's a pretty tricky chorus too. There were seeds and caraway seeds and cinnamon and everything else, and it's hard to remember all the words.
Exactly, I'd imagine, yes, for sure.
It's a sobering song. You sing it sober.
As I sat in my window last evening, a letter was brought round to me. A little gilt-edged invitation saying Gilhooly come over to tea. Each Christmas the Fogarty sent it, so I went just for our friendship's sake. And the first thing they gave me to tackle was a slice of Miss Fogarty's cake.
And there were plums and prunes and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too. There were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure 'twould work up a fine stomach ache. It would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake.
Miss Mulligan wanted to try it, but really it wasn't no use. For we worked on it over an hour, but a piece of it wouldn't come loose. Till Kelly came in with the hatchet, and Murphy came in with the saw. But Miss Fogarty's cake had the power for to paralyze any man's jaw.
And there were plums and prunes and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too. There were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure 'twould work up a fine stomach ache. It would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake.
Miss Fogarty, proud as a paycock, kept smiling and talking away, till she tripped over Flanagan's brogans and spilt the poteen in her tea. Gilhooly, she says, you're not eating, try a little bit more to make cake. Oh no, Mrs. Fogarty, said I, any more and my stomach would break.
And there were plums and prunes and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too. There were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure 'twould work up a fine stomach ache. It would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake.
Maloney was hit with a colic, O'Donnell a pain in his head. McNulty lay down on the sofa and he swore that he wished he was dead. Miss Bailey went into hysterics and there she did wriggle and shake.
and all of us swore we were poisoned from eating Miss Fogarty's cake. And there were plums and prunes and cherries, there were citrons and raisins and cinnamon too. There were nuts and cloves and berries, and a crust that was nailed on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, sure to work up a fine stomach ache. It would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake. Yes, it would kill a man twice after eating a slice of Miss Fogarty's Christmas cake.
Howdy friends and listeners, this here is your old host with most country western music and bluegrass music, Johnny Woodlock. And I'd like to invite y'all, my listeners, to write yours truly, Johnny Woodlock, as well as Sim Bush and also Little Gunny, here at the Woodlock Ranch and Studios. Have you ever had a thought or a message for us about this program you hear weekly? If so, we would love to hear from you. So write to us at our email address at waybackwwoodlock@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to write you back. In the meantime, back to the show, friends, and happy listening.
So keep those cards and letters coming in.
Well, yes, friends, following the interview with our good friend George Millar of the Irish Rovers, we're once again back here on the Way Back with Johnny show and Christmas Jamboree. With that mentioned, I would like to play a song before we send us into the third and final hour here this morning. That is by our good friend Wayne Rostad, who is on the road again with his Christmas in the Valley series of shows happening again this Christmas season. This coming Saturday, the 13th of December, beginning at 2 p.m., Wayne and his friends will do their Christmas in the Valley concert at our local theater here in Cornwall, Ontario, at the Altesville Theater. I hope to see a lot of y'all out there enjoying the Christmas season with Wayne and his friends. And in the meantime, let's pay tribute to that all-time classic from 1982 and an all-time favorite called Christmas in the Valley. We'll be back following this to send us into the third and final hour.
Sleigh bells ringing in the snow, kissing neath the mistletoe. Out in the barn the cattle low, it's Christmas in the valley. And soon beneath the Christmas tree we'll gather with our families, love in perfect harmony. It's Christmas in the valley. Oh, the valley lights will shine so bright, all the world will be so right. When Santa on his magic night comes to his children, there'll be sleigh bells ringing in the snow and kissing neath the mistletoe. Out in the barn the cattle low, it's Christmas in the valley. Candlelight and hearts aglow, the silent dance of falling snow, familiar songs on the radio. That's Christmas in the valley. In every town the church bells ring, in every home a young child dreams, in every heart the spirit sings. It's Christmas in the valley. Oh, the valley lights will shine so bright, all the world will be so right. When Santa on that magic night mistletoe. Out in the barn, the cattle low. It's Christmas in the valley. Out in the barn, the cattle low. It's Christmas in the valley.
And yes, friends, it's once again that time in the program to pay tribute to the end of the second hour of the Wayback with Johnny show and the Wayback Country Christmas for our second edition of our program. With that mentioned, I would like to pay tribute to two gospel-inspired Christmas songs. First of all, it's going to be an all-time classic by the Croner Bing Crosby and Do You Hear What I Hear? And then following that, we will hear an all-time classic, again, this time by another Croner, but a country Croner at that, and that is, of course, Eddie Arnold and One Christmas Eve Long Ago. With that, we'll be back following this on the other side of the hour. Good morning, friends, and happy listening.
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
Way up in the sky, little lamb. Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
A star, dancing in the night, with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear?
What I hear,
ringing through the sky, shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear?
A song high above the tree, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know? In your palace warm, mighty king, do you know what I know? A child shivers in the cold, let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Said the king to the people everywhere, listen to what I say. Pray for peace, people everywhere. Listen to what I say. The child sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He will bring us goodness and light.
That I could see, there were no presents, there was no tree. From the sky there came a glow, one Christmas Eve long ago. No shopping malls, no flashing lights, just one big star to fill the night. The light of love began to grow one Christmas Eve so long ago. That's how I feel it down in my soul. Much more than silver and more than gold, so far beyond mere words to say. The gift of love was ours on that first Christmas day. No decorations, no fancy lights. He came in silence on that holy night. That's how it was. Somehow I know. One Christmas Eve long ago. No decorations that I could see. There were no presents, there was no tree. That's how it was. Somehow I know. One Christmas Eve long ago. One Christmas Eve so long ago. One Christmas Eve long ago.
Halt! Who goes there?
Who, me? I'm Johnny Woodlock.
I'm the official sentry of the island of misfit toys. My name is Charlie. Who, may I ask, are you?
Well, I'm your old host with the most, country western music, and this time of year, Christmas music. Right here on the Wayback Country Christmas, airing every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 over historic CFRC 119 FM. Stay tuned here, friends, for the best in country Christmas music.
That's okay.
Was the night before Christmas in Texas, you know, way out on the prairie without any snow. Asleep in their cabin were Buddy and Sue, dreaming of Christmas like me and like you. Not stockings but boots at the foot of their bed, for this was in Texas, what more need be said? When all of a sudden from out the still night there came such a ruckus it gave me a fright. I saw across the prairie like a shot from a gun, a loaded up buckboard come on at a run. The driver was G-ing and a hawing with a will. The hoss is not reindeer, he drove with such skill. Come on there, Buck Pancho and Prince to the right. There's plenty of traveling for you all tonight. The driver in Levi's in shirt that was red had a 10-gallon Stetson on top of his head. As he stepped from his buckboard, he was really a sight, with his beard and mustaches so curly and white. As he burst in the cabin, the children awoke, and both so astonished that neither one spoke. And he filled up their boots with such presents galore that neither could think of a single thing more. When Buddy recovered the use of his jaws, he asked in a whisper, "Are you Santa Claus? Am I the real Santa? Ho ho, what do you think?" And he smiled as he gave a mysterious wink. Then he leaped in his buckboard and he called in his drawl to the children of Texas, "Merry Christmas, you all." Silver bell, ho-lay-doo, silver bell, ho-lo-dee. It's Christmas time in the city, ho-lo-dee-doo. Ring-a-ling, ho-lay-hoo, ring-a-ling, ho-lay-hoo. Soon it will be Christmas. busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner you'll hear silver bell, hooray-hee, silver bell, hooray-hee. It's Christmas time in the city, hooray-hee. Ring-a-ling, hooray-hee, ring-a-ling, hooray-hee. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of street lights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers rush home with their treasure. Hear the snow crush, see the kids rush. This is Santa's big day. And above all this bustle you'll hear silver bell, hooray-hee, silver bell, hooray-hee. It's Christmas time in the city, hooray-dee. Ring-a-ling, hooray-dee, ring-a-ling, hooray-hee. Soon it will be Christmas Day. One more time. Silver bell, hooray-dee, silver bell, hooray-hee. It's Christmas time in the city, hooray-dee. Ring-a-ling, hooray-hoo, ring-a-ling, hooray-hoo. Soon it will be Christmas Day, hooray-hoo.
There's an old Christmas card in an old dusty trunk, and it brings back sweet memories dear to me. It sure does, honey. Though it's faded and worn, it's as precious as the morn when I found it 'neath our first Christmas tree. I thrill with every word and every line. Yes, I'm always sentimental around this time. Pardon me if a tear falls among my Christmas cheer. It's a memory of an old Christmas card. Yes, you know, darling, I get that feeling about this time every year. But gee, every time I see a Christmas card, I just can't help reminiscing. You know what about? Yeah, that it was really something, that first Christmas we spent together. What a beautiful card you gave me. Why, you must have looked through thousands of them for me. And to find that wonderful poem that, well, it still brings tears to my eyes. And the picture on the cover, gee, I can't forget it. It looks exactly like the little white church where we were first wed. Those were wonderful, wonderful memories. And the lines you added in your own handwriting, I'll always remember them as long as I live, because it read, "To my darling forever, and darling the same to you." There's an old Christmas card in an old dusty trunk, and it brings back sweet memories dear to me. Though it's faded and worn, it's as precious as the morn when I found it 'neath our first Christmas tree. I thrill with every word and every line. Yes, Yes, I'm always sentimental around this time. I sure am, darling. Pardon me if a tear falls among my Christmas cheer. Just a memory of an old Christmas card. And a merry, merry Christmas to you all.
Now, friends, once again, it's that time to take our weekly trip down east to the good old Maritimes of Canada. With that mention, I would like to send out some special dedications to some dear friends and listeners today. First of all, for my good friends John and Kathy up there in Guelph, Ontario. It's going to be a legendary Prince Edward Islander. Of course, that is the king of Canadian country music, stomping Tom Connors, and his all-time classic called Jingle Jangle Airplane. Then we'll follow with Michael T. Wall, the king of the Newfies, as we call him, and his all-time classic called Santa Claus is a Newfie. And then we'll wrap up with another all-time favorite, and it's a song that is going out to Peter, Myrna, and Pugwash, Nova Scotia today, but it's going to be a classic, rather interesting song called Smoke the Chipmunk Cat. With that, this one is by Neil Matthews from Prince Edward Island. I also found this on one of Peter's USB drives that he sent me quite a while ago. So with that, we'll welcome you all to the Wayback, Country Christmas, and also the East Coast favorites. Welcome in, friends.
Jump on the band plays jingle jangle, swing with a single tingle tangle, dance on the Christmas jingle jangle way. Jump with a jingle jingle jangle, swing with a single tingle tangle, dance the jingle jangle Christmas Day. I was wondering if the fans rock and roll in foreign lands, so my aeroplane and me flew around the world to see. I found out they rock and roll in every place but the old North Pole, and there I saw them swing and sway, and I could hear old Santa say, jump when the band plays jingle jangle, swing with a single tingle tangle, dance on the Christmas jingle jangle way. Jump with a jingle, jingle, jangle, swing with a single, tingle, tangle, dance the jingle, jangle Christmas Day. So I flew down and landed there by Mrs. Claus's rocking chair. The reindeer jingle, jangled by, and Rudolph held his red nose high. Hear the Christmas fairies sing, watch the brownies sway and swing, and then they taught me how to prance the Christmas jingle, jangle dance. Jump when the band plays jingle jangle, swing with a single tingle tangle, dance on the Christmas jingle jangle way. Jump with a jingle jingle jangle, swing with a single tingle tangle, dance the jingle jangle Christmas Day. Before I left the old North Pole, I forgot how to rock and roll. The jingle jangle in my brain began to affect my aeroplane. It must have heard old Santa say the jingle jangle all the way, 'cause now it's in the Hall of Fame, a jingle jangled aeroplane. Jump when the band plays jingle jangle, swing with a single tingle tangle, dance on the Christmas jingle jangle way. Jump with a jingle jingle jangle, swing with a single tingle tangle, dance the jingle jangle Christmas Day. Hey! Dance the jingle jangle Christmas Day.
I've heard it said that Santa Claus comes from the cold North Pole, but there's a story in Newfoundland that simply must be told. The island knows the legend well, passed down from centuries, and I'm here to tell the whole wide world that Santa is a Newfie. Now this is a true story, just like Aunt Martha's sheep. Why it remains so secret, it truly amazes me. Up on this rocky island home, he became a famous man. It's time that everyone should know that Santa's from Newfoundland. Santa Claus is a Newfie, with a big ho-ho down your chimney with a leap. Merry Christmas, me son, to everyone. Santa Claus is a Newfie. It was a foggy Christmas Eve, the sleigh was loaded down. Santa needed a guiding light to find his way around. Rudolph appeared at the door and Santa lost his speech. He saw his nose and he laughed, ho ho, you've been drinking Newfie Screech. So if you're ever in Newfoundland when Christmas time draws near, leave a little mug up for Santa and his reindeer. A drink of Screech makes Rudolph's nose as bright as it can be. I swear it's true, believe me you, Santa's a Newfie. Santa Claus is a Newfie with a big ho-ho down your chimney with a leaf. Merry Christmas, me son, to everyone. Santa Claus is a Newfie. Merry Christmas, me son, to everyone. Santa Claus is a Newfie. Pass the Screech, please.
This song is based on a true story about a small abandoned kitten that we named Smokey. Now almost 3 years old, she still tries to mimic her early chipmunk friends from the country. Little Smoke, the chipmunk cat, came to us by accident on a dark and rainy night, cold and damp and filled with fright. To live had been her destiny until she sat on Daddy's knee, where she was happy instantly, 'cause she had found her family. Christmas time has rolled around, but little Smokey won't be found, living on the cold, cold ground in her little chipmunk town. Just drop by and you will see, right beside our Christmas tree, sitting on old Santa's lap, is little Smoke, the chipmunk cat. Sitting on old Santa's lap is little Smoke, the chipmunk cat.
Moonshine and homebrew, New Star beer and rabbit stew. We'll have a good old Newfie Christmas, all right.
Hello, this is Michael T. Wall, the singing Newfoundlander, and I would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Johnny Woodlock and myself right here on Wayback Country Christmas.
A good old Newfie Christmas, all right.
Now, friends, following those East Coast favorites, we're once again back here on the Wayback Country Christmas, and with that mentioned, I would like to pay tribute to the high lonesome sounds of a bluegrass Christmas here this morning. I'd like to also send out my merriest early Christmas wishes to Sparky, also known as my good friend Sandra Day in Ingleside, Ontario. For her today will be a song by the Country Gentlemen. They have a song back in the day called Back Home at Christmas. Then we'll follow with one of my favorite songs, originally done by the Royal Guardsmen, but is done today by a group I met this summer at the Bluegrass Festival in Iroquois. It's going to be Nothing Fancy Bluegrass Band and a song called Snoopy's Christmas. And then we'll wrap up this set with another all-time legendary bluegrass group. That, of course, is Carter and Ralph Stanley and their all-time classic called Christmas Time Is Near. With that, I hope y'all enjoy these high lonesome sounds of a bluegrass Christmas. Welcome in, friends, and happy listening.
Back up in the mountains in the old hometown of mine, there's not a brighter time of year than that of Christmas time. The bells in the little church, they all begin to chime, telling all for miles around, rejoice, it's Christmas time. Christmas bells are ringing, I hear the chime so sweet. The carolers are singing, I hear them in the street. Outside the white snow falling, inside my heart I find a world of joy and peace on earth back home at
Christmas time.
Each window they give a golden glow, while out among the shimmering pines lights sparkle in the snow. And through the lonely mountain tops the wind shrill echoes cry, for peace on earth, goodwill toward men, and faith that will not die.
Christmas bells ringing, I hear the chime so sweet. The carolers are singing, now I hear them in the street. Outside the white snow falling, inside my heart I find a world of joy and peace on earth back home at Christmas time.
Little town so bright to be so far, there shines upon the whole wide world his gift, our guiding star. Everyone in each home can feel a peace sublime, and know the joy the Yuletide brings to all at Christmas time.
Christmas bells ringing, I hear the chime so sweet. The carolers are singing, now I hear them in the street. Outside the white snow falling, inside my heart I find a world of joy and peace on earth back home at Christmas time. A world of joy and peace on earth back home at Christmas time.
news had come out in the First World War. The bloody Red Baron was flying once more. The Allied command ignored all of its men and called on Snoopy to do it again. 'Twas the night before Christmas, 40 below, when Snoopy went up in search of his foe. He spied the Red Baron, and fiercely they fought. With ice on his wings, Snoopy knew he was caught. Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through our land, bringing peace to all the world and goodwill to man. The Baron had Snoopy dead in his sights. He reached for the trigger to pull it up tight. Why he didn't shoot, we'll never know. Or was it the bells from the village below? The Baron made Snoopy fly to the right and forced him to land behind the enemy lines. Snoopy was certain that this was the end when the Baron cried out,
"Merry Christmas, my friend!"
Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through our land, bringing peace to all the world and goodwill to man. A holiday toast when Snoopy, our hero, saluted his host. And then with a roar, they were both on their way, each knowing they'd meet on some other day. Christmas bells, those Christmas bells, ringing through our land, bringing peace to all the world and goodwill to man, and goodwill to man.
Out in the country about this time of year, everybody's happy, Christmas time is near. Little children playing, running to and fro, Santa Claus coming, riding on the snow. I remember years ago when just a lad at home, how long for Christmas time nothing could go wrong. Nowadays I look back, seem like just a year, going back to see 'em all, Christmas time is near. Holly in the window, fireplace burning bright, candle lights glowing on Christmas night. I'll see the smiling faces once again this year, waiting for me at the door, Christmas time is near. I can see the pine trees now swaying here and there, they seem to know it's Christmas time with joy everywhere. Ice grows on the branches, the water cool and clear, snowflakes are falling, Christmas time is near. Snowflakes are falling, Christmas time is near. Christmas, Christmas, Christmas time is near.
Busy sidewalks, city sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeannie Seeley with the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee, but I want to wish Johnny Woodlock and all of you wonderful listeners a very Merry Christmas here on the Wayback Country Christmas.
Soon it will be Christmas Day.
Well, now, friends, of course, it's once again that time to invite our beloved mascot and fur baby Simbush, the Wonder Husky, onto the Wayback Country Christmas this morning. Yes, friends, once again, it's that time in the program to pay tribute to the last selection of songs by none other than the Irish Rovers. As they pay tribute one last collection of Irish Rovers Christmas favorites, we're going to pay tribute to three classics. First of all, it's going to be a song that I first sang in school many years ago called Must Be Santa. We'll then follow with one of my all-time favorite Christmas songs, or just regular songs of the Irish Rovers, called The Marvelous Toy. And then we'll wrap up with the Irish Rovers once again and their all-time classic called Christmas in Killarney. With that, I hope to welcome you all to this country Christmas. Welcome in, friends, and happy listening.
Long and white.
Santa's got a beard that's long and white.
Who comes around on a special night?
Santa comes around on a special night, beard that's white. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus.
Who wears boots and
a suit of red. Santa wears boots and a suit of red. Who wears a long cap on his head? Santa wears a long cap on his head. Cap on head, suit of red. Special night, beard that's white. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Who's got a big red cherry nose? Santa's got a big red cherry nose. Who laughs this way, ho, ho, ho? Santa laughs this way, ho, 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 ho. Cherry nose, cap on head, suit that's red. Special night, beard that's white. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Santa very soon will come our way. 8 little reindeer pull his sleigh. Santa's little reindeer pull his sleigh. Reindeer sleigh, come our way. Ho, 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 cherry nose, cap on head, suit that's red. Special night, beard that's white. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen. Reindeer sleigh, come our way. Ho, 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 cherry nose, cap on head, suit that's red. Special night, beard that's white. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Must be Santa, must be Santa, must be Santa, Santa Claus. Holly green, the ivy green, the prettiest picture you've ever seen. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home. It's nice, you know, to kiss your beau and cuddling under the mistletoe. And Santa Claus, you know, of course, is one of the boys from home. The door is always open, the neighbours pay a call, and Father John, before he's gone, will bless the house and all. Our hearts are light, our spirits bright, we'll celebrate our joy tonight. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home. The holly green, the ivy green, the prettiest picture you've ever seen. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home. It's nice, you know, to kiss your beau and cuddling under the mistletoe. And Santa Claus, you know, of course, is one of the boys from home.
We'll decorate the Christmas tree when all the family's here. Around the roaring fire we will raise a cup of cheer. There's gifts to bring and songs to sing and laughs to make the rafters ring. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home.
The holly green, the ivy green, the prettiest picture you've ever seen. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home. It's nice, you know, to kiss your beau while cuddling under the mistletoe. And Santa Claus, you know, of course, is one of the boys from home. Green, the ivy green, the prettiest picture you've ever seen. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home. It's nice, you know, to kiss your beau while cuddling under the mistletoe. And Santa Claus, you know, of course, is one of the boys from home.
We'll take the horse and sleigh all across the fields of snow, listening to the jingle bells everywhere we go. How grand it feels to click your heels and dance away to the jigs and reels. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home.
The holly green, the ivy green, the prettiest picture you've ever seen. It's Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home. It's nice, you know, to kiss your beau while cuddling under the mistletoe. And Santa Claus, you know, of course, is one of the boys from home. The holly green, the ivy green, the prettiest picture you've ever seen. I'm handing you no blarney, no matter where you roam. It's Christmas Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home.
When I was just a wee little lad, full of health and joy, one year for Christmas I received a marvellous little toy. A wonder to behold it was, with many colours bright, and the moment that I set eyes on it, it became my heart's delight. And it went zip when it moved, pop when it stopped, whir when it stood still. I never knew just what it was, and I guess I never will. From the moment that I picked it up, I had a big surprise. For right on his bottom were two big buttons that looked like big green eyes. Well, I first pushed one, and then the other, and then I twisted its lid. And when I set it down again, well, this is what it did. It went zip when it moved, pop when it stopped, whir when it stood still. I never knew just what it was, and I guess I never will. It first marched left and then marched right, and then marched under a chair. And when I looked where it had gone, well, it wasn't even there. I started to cry and my daddy laughed, for he knew that I would find. When I turned around, that marvellous toy came a-chugging from behind. And it went zip when it moved, pop when it stopped, whir when it stood still. I never knew just what it was, and I guess I never will. When it stopped, whir when it stood still. I never knew just what it was, and I guess I never will. Well, the years have passed so quickly it seems, now I have my own little boy. And yesterday I gave to him that marvellous little toy. Well, his eyes nearly popped right out of his head, and he gave a squeal of glee. Neither one of us knows just what it is, but he loves it just like me. And it went zip when it moved, pop when it stopped, whir when it stood still. I never knew just what it was, and I guess I never will. And it went zip when it moved, pop when it stopped, whir when it stood still. I never knew just what it was, and I guess I never will.
And the lane snow is glistening.
Hi, this is Dina Martin, daughter of Dean Martin, and you're listening to my good friend Johnny Woodlock on the Wayback Country Christmas. He's fabulous. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
And yes, friends, once again, it's that time in the program to welcome for the third and final part of this great interview our good friend and the co-founder of the Irish Rovers, Mr. George Millar, all the way from his home in Victoria, British Columbia. It's going to be our good friend George Millar to tell us a few stories about how the classic Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer first got recorded back in 1982. Then we're going to hear that all-time classic by the Rovers themselves. So let's sit back and turn the volume up as we pay tribute and hear some more great Irish Rovers stories from my good friend George Millar once again. Here's George. I understand you have a new tour coming up next year in 2026. Share with us a little bit about that if you would.
All right. This one is more in the east, the middle and
in the east. It starts in Winnipeg, and from there we go a few around Toronto. I don't know if we're going to be in your neighborhood, but I haven't seen the schedule yet. But I know we are playing the casino in Orillia, that big casino.
Yes.
Yeah, we're playing there again, and I think there's a couple of places like maybe Hamilton, Ontario, and London, Ontario. Some of the places we haven't played in 4 or 5 years, so we're doing some of those dates, and I'm not quite sure where it ends up. Like I'm saying, and I'm the last to know. They just they say to me, "Do you want to do this?" I say, "Okay," and then I don't really think about it until I actually see the schedule, and I say, "Who okayed this?" And they said, "You did." I went, "Oh yes, right, sorry." Because some days you've got like a 500-mile drive to the next place. You have to get up at 6 in the morning, and you get into the rental cars, and away you go at 7 in the morning, and you don't get in till 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But it happens, and that's all musicians have gone through that, and it's just something you learn to live with. Because as much as you try to not make it much more than maybe 100 or 150 miles a day, that doesn't always happen. And especially in Canada, when you're talking about the prairies, those are big distances between. It's nice to get into Ontario and Quebec, where there's lots of places we can play within 100 miles of each other, and so that is really quite a thrill for us. Where good, it's a travel day, but it's only 100 miles, so we'll be there. So that's the type of thing. You can get into the hotel, and then you could walk around the town and exercise and get your fresh air and all of the things we like to do.
That's right. I hear you. Yes, for sure. So how will you be spending Christmas this year, George?
Well, this year we were going to spend in Ireland, my wife and I, but then her sister took a little ill, so we've decided we better do that another year. So we're going to be here, and what we'll do is my family, this is my second wife, Anne, so my family, they come and we celebrate that about, I think, around the 14th or 15th of December. They spend a couple of nights here at the hotel right where we live near us. We go out to a nice restaurant and we have a family night, and then we do the same thing the following week with her family. She has 2 sons, and we've all got I've got grandchildren, and Anne has grandchildren, so there's lots of family time. And then on Christmas itself, we'll probably go to one of the sons' house for Christmas dinner, and Anne and I will have a nice quiet morning, and we'll wake up and open our couple of little things, and we'll have a special breakfast, which is usually maybe pancakes or something like that. We're both vegans, but on Christmas we do have pancakes made with dairy. We don't normally eat dairy, but we do on that day. We won't probably have turkey that night, but we will have lots of vegetables, which I love. Luckily, coming from Ireland, I love Brussels sprouts and cauliflower and turnip and cabbage and
the good stuff. Exactly, yes.
Spuds by the ton. So it's easy for me to be vegan that way. So I'm not 100% vegan, but I am probably 95%. Once in a while, I'll have a piece of fish, but other than that, I don't eat any poultry or any beef at all.
Okay,
the last
I see.
20 years probably or more.
And of course, being a Christmas interview, I must ask you about that all-time classic, Grandma Got Ran Over. How did that song ever get recorded by the Rovers?
Well, okay, here's what happened. We were driving across one night. We were in America. We were driving, and I can't quite remember. It was somewhere in North Dakota. We were going to the next gig, and this is years ago. This is even before the Unicorn became popular. We were playing the club, and we had an overnight drive, something like 10 hours to get to the next club. It was like Wyoming or something into North Dakota. It was like through this wintry night, through the blizzards and the snow, and it took us like 12 hours overnight driving, and we would take turns driving, and the other boys would sleep in the back seat. So we all happened to be awake because we had just sort of left wherever we were playing the club. We had to leave after that show to get to the next place on time. It was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. We were still all awake, and we're listening to, as you're driving through the States, you pick up different radio stations. So that's what we were doing to keep ourselves awake. And on comes this song, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Now, this is probably about maybe 1966 or 1967. Okay. And it's a couple called Patsy and Elmo were their name. And we heard them sing this little song. And of course, we were giddy because we had just done 4 shows in a folk club, and we were still the adrenaline was still flowing. And the 4 of us heard this, and we're laughing our heads off saying, "Whoa, that's a great little song. I've never heard that song before. It must be a new Christmas type thing." And that's the last time. So it was only that one time we heard it. And then we forgot all about it. And then go forward about 20 years to about 1986, I think it was, we're in the studio and we're doing a Christmas album with Jack Richardson, who is a Canadian producer. He's the one that did the Guess Who, and he did all sorts of good Canadian rock and roll. We decided we would use him to do a Christmas album because he had done the album before with the hit the Wasn't That a Party. So we said, well, let's get him again for a Christmas CD. So once again, we do all of the Christmas things that we had in our. Will and I had written a couple of songs and picked some regular Christmas songs. Once again, Jack said, do you have anything a bit different? And we said, you know what? About 20 years ago, and I told him the same story. We were driving through the wilds of North Dakota one late night, and we heard this little song called Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. He said, oh, and who was singing it? And we said, somebody called Patsy and Elmo. So he said, all right, let me see if I can find it. So he went back to his secretary, and she did research, and she found the song. She got the lyrics, brought it to us in the studio the next day, and we had the music there. So that's how we learned it, off this. And we rehearsed it for a day, and then we sort of changed it a bit and rewrote some bits of it. And then we decided to record it the next day, just for a lark, to see if it might fit the CD.
I see.
And
yes.
So it was put on as a last-minute thing, and it only took us one day to do it. And there it was. And, of course, that's the one on that Christmas album that people will ask me in July, sing that Grandma song. I said, no, it's only for Christmas. And they say, oh, please sing it. So we'll do a chorus for them, even if we're doing an outdoor festival in July. Everybody seems to know it, and you either love that song or you hate it. My mother hated it. She says, before she passed away, she says, please don't ever sing that song again. And I said, oh, Mother, it's a joke. It's a funny song.
Exactly.
My father loved it. My mother didn't.
I see, yes.
You can't win them all, and it's the same with our fans. Some fans say, we would never, ever really like to hear that song again. We say, but unfortunately, when we do a Christmas show, that's what a lot of them want to hear.
I want to hear it because it's your signature Christmas song.
That's right.
Yes,
I say, cover your ears for the next 3 minutes if you don't want to hear this one.
I have one last question, but and I won't keep you long, but just give us a little bit of a blessing before we say so long, an Irish Christmas blessing.
Well, an Irish Christmas blessing would be similar to the other. Was just, may the road rise to meet you, may the wind always be at your back, may your house be free from rent, and may you be with the loved ones that you love on Christmas Day. And remember, it's not hard to smile and press and give kindness. Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas, George, and I hope to see you next year or soon down the road somewhere.
Hopefully you'll see us in 3 or 4 months. Johnny, Merry Christmas to you, and hopefully we'll see you on the next tour.
Yes, and let's be in touch in March for St. Patrick's Day.
Would love to.
Yeah, God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, all the best, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
She'd been drinking too much eggnog, and we begged her not to go. But she'd left her medication, so she stumbled out the door into the snow. When they found her Christmas morning at the scene of the attack, there were hoof prints on her forehead and incriminating claws marks on her back.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer
walking home from our house Christmas Eve.
You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Now we're all so proud of Grandpa. He's been taking this so well. See him in there watching football, drinking beer and playing cards with Cousin Mel. It's not Christmas without Grandma. All the family's dressed in black, and we just can't help but wonder, should we open up her gifts or send them back?
Grandma got run over by a reindeer
walking home from our house Christmas Eve.
You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Now the goose is on the table, and a pudding made of pig, and a blue and silver candle that would just have matched the hair in Grandma's wig. I've warned all my friends and neighbors, better watch out for yourselves. They should never give a license to a man who drives a sleigh and plays with elves. Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe. Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Well, yes, friends, once again, I would like to pay tribute to the Wayback Song of the Week, and with that mentioned, I have a very special song dedicated to all the kids out there today who either are kids or young at heart. With that mentioned, this next song will be a song that Don Reed and Harold Reed recorded and wrote many years ago, and of course, they are the famed brothers of the Statler Brothers, the most awarded group in country music history. The Statler Brothers were, of course, made up of Lou DeWitt, Phil Bogsley, and Harold and Don Reed. With that mentioned, it's going to be an all-time classic called The Carols Those Kids Used to Sing. Now, I do hope y'all enjoy this Wayback Song of the Week, and we'll be back following this Send Us All Home. Welcome in, friends.
My brother Harold and I wrote that, and we wrote that from actual experience. We used to have a youth group at our church when we were kids, and we would raise money and go on hay rides and go on Christmas caroling tours and all that around that town. And we also would raise money and have buy gifts for needy kids and families that were in need and deliver the packages there. And those verses that we talk about are things that actually happened to us, and as we would sing carols and go around from house to house at Christmas time.
About 3 nights before every Christmas, we'd load Mr. Bradley's truck with hay. 7:30 on the dot, on the church parking lot, we'd pile in that old truck and ride away. Just a bunch of kids singing Christmas carols to the hospital and the old folks' home. Sometimes we'd go in and sing them all again to a shut-in who was living all alone. Singing joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. And at Christmas each year, I still love to hear the carols those kids used to sing. Then one year, all of us decided everyone would bring some food on Christmas Eve. Bought a turkey and some toys for some underprivileged boys who lived with their grandma on relief. She had told them there wouldn't be a Christmas, and the look on their faces I still see. I'm glad for what we did, 'cause we made some happy kids dance around where there might have been a tree. Singing joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. And at Christmas each year, I still love to hear the carols those kids used to sing. Singing joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. And at Christmas each year, I still love to hear the carols those kids used to sing. Singing joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth Christmas each year, I still love to hear the carols those kids used to sing.
Hi, this is Don Reed of the Statler Brothers, wishing you all a very country Christmas with my friend Johnny Woodlock on the Wayback Country Christmas.
And at Christmas each year, I still love to hear the carols those kids used to sing.
Now, friends, it's once again that time to say so long from the Way Back with Johnny show. And as we say so long this morning, I would like to thank you, each and every one of you, for tuning into the program this morning on our second official Way Back Country Christmas. And also, with that mentioned, I would like to also thank our good friend George Millar of the Irish Rovers for being on the program as well. Now, let's send us all home with two classics. First of all, it's going to be that all-time classic sacred Christmas favorite called Silent Night, as performed by the Irish Rovers. And then we'll send us all the way home with Whisper and Po' Boy Bill Anderson and that all-time classic great message song called Still Believing in Christmas. So with that, may God bless and keep you all till we meet again next weekend. Same great time, same great place on this channel next weekend, as we pay tribute to another collection of great Christmas favorites. So long, and may God bless and keep you all till we meet again. So long for now, friends.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born, Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
Well, it's my favorite time of year again. Of course, I'm talking about Christmas. Oh, I've got so many great memories of Christmases in my life. Everybody gathering at our house. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Going with my daddy to pick out a Christmas tree for the whole family to decorate. I once even played the part of a shepherd in a Christmas play at church. Oh, and I still remember how hard it was to go to sleep on Christmas Eve, knowing that Santa was on his way. But you know, things have changed a lot down through the years, and somewhere along the way, I think maybe the world just got in too big of a hurry. I first began to notice it when people started writing Xmas instead of Christmas. And now some people want to call Christmas the winter break or the winter holiday. And that's sad to me, because it seems like folks are even afraid to say the word Christmas anymore. Well, the first word in Christmas is Christ. And it's His birthday that those of us who call ourselves Christians celebrate every December 25th. I wouldn't dare try to tell anyone else that they couldn't celebrate the holiday of their faith any way they might see fit. The last time I checked, this was still the land of the free. And that means that I'm free to celebrate Christmas for what it means to me. So I'm going to go out this year and I'm going to buy Christmas presents. And I'm going to send my friends Christmas cards and sing Christmas carols and eat Christmas cookies and tell the Christmas story to my kids and my grandkids and anybody else that might care to listen. Okay, call me politically incorrect if you want to. I've been called a lot worse things in my life. I've seen a lot of Christmases come and go down through the years, and I'm looking forward to this one, and the next one, and the next one. So allow me to say to you and yours, Merry Christmas, because even after all this time, in fact, maybe now even more than ever, I am still believing in Christmas.
Another show is over, another day gone by, with good friends all around me. How the time goes fly.
Howdy, friends and listeners. This here is your old host with most, Johnny Woodlock, reporting for Wayback with Johnny over this great channel. The previous show does not represent anything associated with the channel heard on. It is the sole associate of Woodlock Ranch Studios, Cornwall, Ontario. With that, have a great day, and we'll catch y'all next week. So long, friends.
It's hard to find the words I want to say, but friends, I'll try. God bless you all and keep you till we meet again. Goodbye.